Living local. Stirring it up.
Yeah, man.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ FM San Luis Obispo rocks.
Autonomy watch. How you doing? It's been downgraded from a warning to a watch. I don't know if it's much of anything anymore. But
well, they said that if you have boats that are in harbors,
you imagine people going out to Port San Luis?
It's a possibility that I don't know.
Trying to get their boat off their buoy, off their mooring.
That there's a possibility that it could cause some destruction. More in the more tighter harbors, like Ventura, or down in Del Mar or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Port San Luis is a south-facing beach, and you're kind of protected there by that inlet that goes out, or that peninsula area. So you're probably okay there.
Even in Ventura, it won't even be an issue because it also is a south.
But when you wake up and you see that on your phone, and it came in at after midnight.
So what came in on your phone? I didn't get anything.
Oh, you didn't? I've got some alert because I have the KSBY weather app, and Dave Hovde was all over it, man. So thank you for that, Dave. Let's see here. I don't have it. Do I not have it open anymore? Here it is.
Did they pull it off your phone?
No. Here it is. All right, Tsunami Watch, and this came in at 1:35. Sorry, and it says there was an 8.0 earthquake about 175 miles off the coast of Kodiak, Alaska, and then it says estimated tsunami start times, and it just kind of breaks it down. From Nia Bay, which is in Washington State, Long Beach, which is in Washington State, and then it just kind of keeps going all the way down until you see Port San Luis, 6:20 a.m. So that's when, if there was a tsunami, that it would reach our coastal waters.
So we have 17 minutes.
Of the central part of our coast. Monterey was supposed to be at 5:55.
Nothing happened there?
Yeah,
that was only 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, so, I mean, from what I understand, and I just talked to Scott in our newsroom, Scott Taylor, and he said, yeah, it's pretty much been downgraded. And I went onto the National Weather Service Twitter page, and they've canceled any kind of warnings, and so I retweeted those. But
is this a
big deal? Not a big deal. But when I first woke up, I had to wake my wife up this morning, who normally doesn't wake up until about right now. And I said, hey, there's a tsunami. You should have seen her eyes. She's sound asleep, and all of a sudden her eyes are like this big. They're like, what? And I'm like, well, it's probably nothing. But there's a tsunami warning, and I didn't want to just leave you in bed because our bedroom's on the downstairs, and if the tsunami came and got you, I'd feel bad. So she said, just go to work. And then I get to work and find out that it's been canceled.
My wife said to me this morning, she goes, this might be a big deal. This was her quote. This might be a big deal because this is what happens in the morning. Okay, she gets up and she has a cup of coffee and she catches up with the day for about 20 minutes. She sits there, has her cup of coffee, then she starts getting ready. So she'll wake up early in order to
just have time with her phone.
Start off the day.
News.
Phone, TV, whatever. This morning it was phone, and she's like, "It's all anybody's ever it's all anybody's talking about on Facebook." And my cousin from Indiana texted me, and I'm like, "Okay,
hey, I got saved by Indiana."
I'm like, "Okay, so," and the first words out of my mouth wanted to be, "Yeah," because it's on Facebook makes it totally true, right? I mean, thousands of Russians can't be wrong about what they say on Facebook. I mean, it's Facebook is the place where you go to get not the story at all.
No, I don't know. I think a lot of people get their news that way now. Or at least that's
terrifying.
Where you originally get the story, and then maybe you go check it out online or
my wife
turn on the
felt
TV.
The need to wake me up early this
radio.
Morning, and I was like, it's fine. Go back to bed. I said, where did it happen? She said, out in the ocean up by Alaska. I said, it's fine. I'm going to go back to bed now. It's fine.
It was fine this time, but...
Okay, but remember last time with Japan situation?
Yeah, everybody went
that was a big deal, too.
Everybody went to the beach, and they just stood there, and they waited to be wiped out. That's what was so funny is I remember this, and I had people calling me like, hey, we're going to the beach. I'm like, why would you do that? That's not a good idea. And there was, they had lifeguards and service. They're not forest ranger, whatever the ranger is that hangs out in Morro Bay police, like all the officials were there trying to get people off the jetty because they were standing up on the rocks at the jetty at the mouth of the Morro Bay Harbor. And probably not the best place to be if a tsunami's coming in. Everybody's looking for it. Is it coming?
See, that's the thing.
And they say you don't know. It just all of a sudden the water comes up and it takes you out.
With Phuket, that was the thing. Nobody knew it was coming. It just like surprised everybody. So now, whenever anything happens out in any ocean, there's a tsunami watch because of what happened to Phuket, and we are like, we're on guard, which is a good thing. But eventually, with all these false warnings, it's the little boy that cried wolf, right? And now I'm to the point where I hear it. I'm like, we'll be fine.
You'll be one of the one that perishes then, probably.
I'll probably perish.
You'll probably perish.
Even though I'm 12 miles inland.
Because when you get a warning, you pay attention.
Even though I'm 12 miles inland with a lot of geography in between me and the water, I'll be the one that perishes because I did not heed warning.
So sometime around 4 o'clock this morning, they canceled it. And so everybody's going to be fine. There is no tsunami to worry about, but there wasn't. I guess they've downgraded it now to a 7.9 earthquake up about 200 miles off the coast of Kodiak, Alaska. So I guess we'll just wait and see if that actually did any damage up there or not as the day moves forward. But we don't have to worry about a tsunami here.
That's an area where you need better technological advances. Is that tsunami?
Well, they have buoys out there that read all this stuff.
Okay.
And that's the thing is, do you remember a decade ago, 20 years ago, we didn't have tsunami. I remember growing up my whole life, never heard about the tsunami.
Yeah.
And I realized I didn't live on the coast of California, but I lived up in the
Earthquakes have been
Northwest.
going on since the beginning of time.
And we're right on the ocean. We're on the West Coast. And I never remember hearing the TV station or radio station come on and say tsunami warning. So I think this is kind of new technology that they've able to figure out with satellites and buoys out in the ocean and wave heights. And that's probably why they canceled it, because nothing ever changed out in the ocean. I don't know. You have to talk to an oceanographer. But we're all good to go.
That's good. I'm breathing.
You feeling
I'm
better?
breathing a huge sigh
How
of relief this morning.
pathetic can some people be?
I think drinking is actually fine, but one thing that is potentially hazardous about it is that drinking makes you think you're good at stuff it's dangerous to think you're good at. Like, say, communicating, or drinking more, or de-arming a police officer, or differentiating between men and women, or getting to a fist fight with a group of people on horseback. You know what I'm saying? Stuff you shouldn't be all cocky about, unless you know you can pull it off. It wouldn't be so bad if drinking made you think you were good at stuff that was more innocuous, like, say, origami. But that never happens. Never. No one ever wakes up really hungover and goes, oh my God. Oh, what did I do last night? Who made all these cranes?
I wish.
There's something beautiful inside of me.
Dumbass of the day. 93.3 KZOZ.
I don't know. You say you wish, but man, when you are drunk and you play the spoons, you are either I'm drunk too, or you're really
drunk.
You're really good at playing the spoons.
You're just drunk. I'm just not that good.
I mean, I've seen you play the spoons. You can only do it when you're drunk, though. It's one of those things you can only do. Like, if I asked you to play the spoons right now, you give it to me, and it's like a third of what you could turn in when you lose your inhibitions and you go to town and you put risk and injury on the line, and you're like, I don't care if I got blisters or cuts in my hands. I'm going to continue through, blood coming out all over the place. Like, you're the heavy metal spooner.
But when you go to your wife's office company Christmas party, and you the next day, your wife's like, yeah, you broke out the spoons last night. I'm like,
good for you, man.
God.
Good for you.
I'm like, I'm so sorry. That's probably not the best place to break out the spoons.
Riding in cars with autopilot could be added to the list. Drunk driver found passed out in his Tesla on the Bay Bridge over the weekend.
Oh, I heard this story when I was in San Francisco.
Okay, yeah. So he was passed out in the car, and when the police came up and said, because there's a stopped car on the Bay Bridge, like, hey, what's going on here, buddy? He's like, car was on autopilot.
Yeah, what does that mean? That's all I heard. I heard drunk driver tries to use Tesla autopilot to get home, is arrested for DUI or something.
Well, see, what happened was he passed out. Now, I don't know if the battery ran out or what the deal was with the autopilot, or if it recognized the fact that the guy behind the wheel was sleeping, so it just shut itself down. Nobody really knows what happened. Because he passed out. He would be the only one that would know what happened. That and maybe the records of the vehicle.
So he had a designated driver. It was his Tesla. His Tesla was going to auto drive him home, but it didn't work out.
Because he was unconscious behind the wheel.
Well, does he have a defense saying, hey, I wasn't driving. It was on autopilot.
Yeah, his that's exactly what his defense was. He was arrested and charged with suspicion of DUI.
It's just a little early in the game for that one, jackass.
Yeah. He explained that he said, listen, this should have got me home. This is what he said to the cops. This is what he said to the police officers on Saturday. The CHP actually tweeted this. Driver explained Tesla had been set on autopilot and should have got him home. He was arrested and charged with suspicion of DUI. The car was towed, and the CHP had a little humor in their tweet. They said, no, it did not drive itself to the tow yard.
That was my best.
That was a bad Knight Rider.
That was my best kid impression.
Tesla officials, of course, they needed to be contacted for this. They said the car's autopilot function is intended to be used only with a fully attentive driver. So maybe that's what happened. Maybe he fell asleep on the wheel, and they're like, oh, this guy's falling asleep on the wheel. Let's go ahead and pull over to the side. And I don't know. I hope it was to the side. That was according to the company statement.
You would hope the autopilot would at least get you off the road and into a safe area if that's the case. But if you really wanted to count on your car, you're like, damn it, come on, car. If you're not going to get me home, at least get me into a parking lot somewhere where I'm not on the road. So, yeah,
do you
Tesla.
Think 30
this
years,
is a big hit for the marketing department in Tesla today.
Do you think at 30 years, when this is the norm, when cars are just driving us around wherever we go,
everybody will be drunk?
We're just going to have big parties in our cars?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Tesla vans. I'm going to get a Tesla van so I can just sit in the back.
The thing to invest
I don't want to be up there where the driving's going on.
The thing to invest in early is not like Toyota or even Tesla for that matter, but like the first car manufacturer that comes out with a huge ass 15-passenger van that's got like couches and a dance floor.
Stripper poles in there.
That's what you want to invest in.
Big screen TVs.
That's a fun time. God, that's going to be so weird. I don't know if I can handle the technology
I would be
curve.
drunk all the time if I didn't have to drive a vehicle. Think about how much more you could drink if you didn't drive. Now, you have kids, so you're probably not going to do that, but I don't. And so, for example, if I have to go out of town, I'm drinking the whole way. Going on vacation, going on a weekend getaway.
Listen, dude.
Boom,
listen,
drinking.
No. I tried this on the train over the holidays.
That's the key. You tried it. You failed.
On the train, it does not end well if you're going to a bowl game.
You went too hard too fast.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen when people get cars that can drive themselves. They're going to treat it like I treat Amtrak, okay?
Well, eventually they'll figure it out. All right, they'll get tired of throwing up in their friend's toilet when they get to their destination, and they'll be like, hey, maybe instead of 17 vodka sodas, maybe I'll just have maybe 7.
That first year that it's allowed. And then in like 2053, when it's allowed to drink and smoke dope inside of a car that's driving itself around, that year is it's going to be known as the tolerance year. Okay, that's going to be the year where people are dialing in their tolerances.
Tesla hashtag Amtrak problems.
Amtrak should come up with a marketing campaign. Hey, we've been letting you drink and travel for 50 years.
Do you think the judge gives this guy some sort of break because he was trying to do the right thing?
No.
Or is this just a line that he's feeding
because
the cops?
I think the judge should use this as an opportunity, a teachable moment, as they say.
Make an example out of him. I was always made an example out of him.
Because he's trying to get by. He was trying to get over on the system. I remember my friend Jeff. He was like one of the first kids to have a cell phone at school, and he thought it'd be cool to call the teacher from the back of the class. So what he did is he kneeled down underneath one of the teachers all had a phone, in their classroom,
Right.
that by the door that they could go and answer, and it never rang. I mean, there's no reason why the phone would ever ring. So Jeff decided to call the front office. He had a friend of his that was working at the switchboard because
Gotcha.
that's what you got credit for being assistants.
Oh, yeah. Students would work in there all the time.
Being secretaries to the secretary, which was what was the secretary's job at that point? I mean, they were farming out all this labor to the kids for free,
Smoking cigarettes by the portables.
Exactly. Yeah, you go on your smoke break. So he knew the girl that was working in the office during the period that we had Mr. Vi's history class, and he got in the back of the class and he kneeled down underneath. He had her patch through the phone call, and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Vi," and he's like, "Yeah," and he goes, "It's Jeff," and he's like, "Jeff who?" He goes, "Jeff in the back of the class," and he stuck up his hand over the desk that he was kneeling down at and waved at him. Innocuous as it was, Jeff got the book thrown at him. Okay,
jackass.
He got like 5 days suspension.
Wow.
Yeah, from school for disrupting the class.
I bet nobody
because
did the phone prank
exactly,
again.
and that's exactly what's going to end
Your
up
buddy
happening.
Jeff was such a dumbass
Oh,
because
he's an idiot.
he just said, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is funny."
Not like, hey, you should dismiss everybody from your class because there's something in there or something. He didn't do anything. He just
But it was rare for anybody to have a cell phone, especially like not one in their car.
Yes.
So he probably thought he was cool.
Well, in this case, like he had one, and most of the teachers had not had a cell phone. You know what I mean? So and the administrators. So when they got word of this, they were like, okay, we're throwing the book at him. And I remember thinking, dude, Jeff got 5 days suspension for the cell phone thing.
Yeah.
Like, I witnessed the cell phone thing. It was dumb.
yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think that he'll probably be there will be an example to be made here about people that think if they have these autonomous or
Especially
self-driving
because
cars.
of where it happened. Because Teslas are so prevalent in the Bay Area because it's the home of the Tesla. So there's like some kind of hometown feel. I mean, you were up there this weekend.
Well, Prius is
Yeah, I know.
but there is a lot of Teslas.
Yeah, but
they're everywhere. They're here. I mean, I see them all over the
Have
place.
you ever stopped at the Gilroy outlets?
No.
Jesus Christ. At the Gilroy outlets.
I did have to piss coming through there, and I almost did stop there, darn it.
At the Gilroy outlets, there's a Tesla charging station, okay? The Tesla charging station has got to be 50 bays, okay? They're all empty, of course, because who is outlet shopping that owns a Tesla, right? You know, are there a lot of outlet shoppers that are owning a Tesla?
I don't know.
But the Tesla struck up some deal with the Gilroy outlets, and they've got 50 bays of Tesla parking spots that you could charge your Tesla at.
Well, you have to understand that, they're on the 101, and the 101
No, it's a great location for it, yes.
And so that you stop there, and you recharge your car if you're going to L.A., and then you shop at the outlets for, garlic infused socks.
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
I'm sure Gilroy paid a pretty penny to have those put in there to get the Tesla owners captive into their spot. But I'm just like, damn, this speaks volumes to how many people actually drive Teslas in the Bay Area if this is the case.
Brian's on the line. He wants to weigh in on this self-driving car thing. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys. Hey, what color is going to be your full-time spoon van?
It's probably just going to be all blacked out, just tinted windows, the whole thing.
Like the president. Right.
Spoons blaring the whole time?
Yep. Spoons. He would do spoons out the window.
Yeah, there'll be speakers. There'll be speakers projecting my my spoon studio. You want to be in my spoon band?
Dude, Brian,
I'm down.
You laugh, but man, and he's very modest when it comes to his spoon game, and he won't ever break it out on the air because he'll never have enough lubrication in order to do it. But I swear, the guy is amazing when he's drunk on the spoons.
You know what we should do? Let's do another St. Patrick's Day show. We'll get all blazed up.
Yeah.
Or wait, that's a different term. We'll get
Spoon Patrick's
We'll
Day.
get all boozed up,
It's
and then
called Spoon Patrick's
and
Day.
we'll get the spoon band back together.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you got to go live on Facebook for this, please.
Yeah,
Oh, we will.
it's
We'll do
good.
it. We'll find a bar or
It's
something.
good.
Drink a lot of JMO.
It's good.
I'm ready. You
All
guys
right.
have a great day.
See ya.
I'll never forget the time that you had to bandage up your hands in college for like a week after playing the spoons. One marathon session of the spoons at my house. And I
Yeah,
was
you're
like,
supposed to tape up beforehand because the spoon will chew right into
and
your skin.
I should have been a much better friend, but I was enjoying what you were able to do with the spoons, and I saw you bleeding, and I saw the cuts coming through.
The blisters, the cuts.
It was like the Kurt Schilling performance in the World Series with the bloody sock.
Bloody sock.
And it was, people should have like went up to him and said, "Dude, you're your ankle's bleeding, man. But they didn't because
I've tried gloves.
He was doing such a good job pitching.
You would think gloves would work, but you just don't get the same feel. So I don't know. There's got to be a glove out there that I could use. Maybe a golf glove would be better than like a knit glove. I've tried a knit glove.
What about, have you tried nitrile gloves?
I have not.
Because
I don't even know what those
they
are.
give you the grip. You know, like if you're picking up, like if you're working on heavy duty stuff.
Oh, yeah. And they've got the little grippy things. Yeah. That's a good idea. But Home Depot, Lowe's, hardware store,
actually, Harbor Freight, probably best deal. You could get like 100 of them.
You're probably right.
You could play.
You're probably right.
Like you get them in a box. No, this happened. My wife had to buy some for her job, and we were at Costco, and there was a sale on Costco, and it was like $10 for like 20 pairs. She needed to buy them for like a workforce. Then we went to Harbor Freight like the next day, and then there's like 50 pairs for like $6. I was like, we're taking the ones back at Costco, and you're buying these ones.
Yesterday's poll question, we were asking you about if you saw some money on the ground, would you pick it up? And
find a penny, pick it up. All day long, you'll have good luck, right? Penny.
No, not necessarily.
That's what everybody should have said. It should have said penny.
People were like, I can't believe Jeremy said $5. But when I was a kid, we picked up some pennies. I remember I picked up a penny, and my grandpa said, hey, that's your lucky penny. And I was out working with him. He drove one of these big 18-wheelers that delivered gas to gas stations. And I was pretty young. I think I was maybe 7 years old. Anyways, we ended up getting pulled over right after we left that gas station, got back on the freeway. Cop yanks me out of the cab. He starts grilling me about who my grandpa is, because apparently there was semi-truck drivers were kidnapping kids. And we also then, right after we left that scene,
are you serious?
After there was 3 cops there, and they thought I was kidnapped because there was an older man with a young kid. It was my grandpa. He had a blowout. And about 5 miles after that, down the road, one of his tires blew out, and he had to call a wrecker to come and like change out the tire for him. And then we went down into where he was going to refuel, so then he could take gas to another station in another part of town. And he went to open the valve to do the draining, there was just supposed to be a little bit left, and all this diesel fuel came flying out and went all over the ground. That could have been thousands of dollars worth of fines. And so we decided right then and there, he said, hey, Jay, he goes, don't ever pick up a penny again. And from that day on, I said, screw it. That is not lucky. Those are not lucky pennies.
With reason.
Because, it was the trifecta. 3 terrible things happened that really could have, it really put a kink in his day anyways. And then, I was thinking he's never going to let me ride with him again. But
I'm a bit surprised, because the lowest denomination that people would pick up off the ground to a tune of 37% so far in the KZOZ.com poll question was penny. I don't think I do it for penny, because I'm not a believer in this good luck charm thing. I think penny was driven by that good luck charm type thing, and that's why so many people said penny. But I think I'm more in the dime quarter realm, and I don't know.
So you're telling me that you've walked by and you've seen change like that on the ground,
dime
and
or a quarter?
You didn't just walk by it; you picked it up.
Dime, yes. Dime, quarter, yes.
You picked it up.
I think inflation has moved me away a little bit from the dime. But
especially a penny.
Here's how
a penny should be thrown away.
I actually cherish change. As somebody who parks downtown on a semi-regular basis, I cherish change, because change is still my preferred method of currency when paying for parking. I know that they put the debit cards in, but you have to do a minimum on the debit card of like $1.25 or something like that. And sometimes I'm not going to be parked down there for an hour. So I just want to have the change. Plus, my kids like to take the change and put it into the
coin star?
The meter.
Oh, okay. Or the meter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love having change. Nothing makes my day more than when somebody rings me up and I have change in my pocket and I have exact change for that purchase. I'm like, oh, check this out. 87? Right,
you're the only one.
Here's 3 quarters.
See, I live in this world.
A dime and called 2 pennies.
A credit card.
And I have this beaming glow of pride on my face when I hand them over that 87
They
cents.
have these chips they put in there now. You just stick it in the thing for like 5 seconds, and then it goes beep, 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 and you're paid. You're done. It's over.
Old school. It's the one.
It is old school.
Old school throwback thing that I actually I subscribe to.
Your
That,
kids are going to be looking at you one day like we look at our parents for writing the check. And they're like, oh, Dad always has to pay with cash, and he's got to have the exact change. He pulls out that little
with the change.
That little coin purse. Remember those that had a little slot in them?
I think that change will be obliterated by the time that they
You have a coin purse? The little thing with the slot in the middle, and it holds all your change?
No, I don't.
It's like a rubber thing.
Nobody's ever brought me one.
Well, I'm going to get you some. Fenton writes in on the 805 text lines. He says, heads up on a penny is lucky. Tails down, or tails up, I'm sorry, is bad. So if you see the head of the penny, then it's good luck. If you see the tails, then you should leave it alone.
What about tails never fails?
Tails never fails does not apply with Fenton's rationale.
If you're picking it up, if you're flipping the coin, tails never fails. But if you
find a penny,
if you're finding it, you want to find a heads up, means good luck.
543-3693. That's the 805 Beer text and phone lines. You can call or text at 543-3693.
Pat writes in, he says, I pick up all denominations of money because it says on all American currency, in God we trust. It doesn't feel right to leave in God we trust on the ground. There you go. There you have it. A little religious motivation for picking up some cash.
Rowley says we have England has pennies. We have cents. Do you have any change on you? Because for me, that's always been called a penny. Do you have a penny on you? To see what it says?
I think they're out in the...
It says 1 cent.
It's in the coin thing in my car.
I don't think it doesn't say penny on it.
God, as here I was just touting the benefits of change, and somebody asked me for the lowest life form of change, and I don't even have it on
really
me.
Let the entire system
I'm
down
sorry,
here.
everyone.
You're a phony.
It's all what I do at the end of the day is I take my change and I dump it into my the thing in my car. There's a little like a flip down thing.
We'll try to find it.
It's not called an ashtray anymore. I don't know what you call it.
A change collector.
I guess so.
I have one in my car.
My coin purse.
I have a little change thing, and I just now keep quarters and nickels and dimes in there.
See?
I throw pennies on the street. I make it rain for the homeless. That's what we should do. We should collect all the pennies and then find a homeless person that needs help and then just open that big jar of pennies, like a big pickle jar, a big one, and just dump it and say, make it rain!
When's the last time that you have been to Seattle? Downtown Seattle. It's
been a while. It's been probably 5 years.
The homeless problem there is ridiculous. I mean, it is out of control. Like, all the different, they have the things that are the freeways they raised up. They're called viaducts, and they're raised up, and there's spaces between the ground and the freeway.
Yeah.
All those spaces underneath the ground, it's just a tent city. I mean, it's like
homeless.
It's like tent on top of tent. I mean, there's got to be 10,000 homeless people living underneath the freeways of Seattle. And you speak of the homeless. Yesterday, Pearl Jam's site had a glitch, and they accidentally released their dates of their tour.
That was on accident?
That was on accident, yeah.
Well, I saw there's a couple of Seattle dates.
Yeah, on the 8th and the 10th of August, they're doing it. So then they had to scramble.
But they were also raising the flag on the Space Needle. They have a Pearl Jam flag right now in Seattle flying on top of the Space Needle. Yeah. So that timing of that, Mike McCready. So that was just
They
timing.
called the Space Needle. They say, hey, did you guys get that Pearl Jam flag? Okay, we're going to need you to raise
Mike McCready was there raising it himself.
We're going to need you to raise it there. We're sending Mike over right now. Okay?
And this glitch just happened to happen?
Yeah, I guess
Come
so.
on, I don't know if I'm buying all that.
But they've pledged that they're going to raise a minimum of $1 million they hope to raise $10 million, but they're going to give $1 million minimum to, no matter what the outcome of ticket sales are, which I'm guessing Pearl Jam's first shows in Seattle, their hometown, in 5 years.
Bringing in some street sweepers?
Pretty sure they will be very quick to sell out. No, towards the homeless awareness in Seattle. But that's $1 million
what does that mean?
Donation.
Homeless awareness. We're aware of them. We drive by them all the time.
Hopefully.
I don't need to be aware of them anymore. What I'd like to be is less aware of them. Can we give to less homeless awareness?
Hopefully that awareness would lead to less awareness.
Maybe some housing?
And some solutions for these people that are... I mean, I can't think of a worse place to be homeless than Seattle, Washington. I'm serious. I grew up there. And my last year there, I lived downtown. I walked over those freeways every morning. Well, not every morning, 5 mornings a week, Monday through Friday.
And you saw it and you smelt it.
And I would walk over those freeways down into the city. And it was the longest rainfall, consecutive day rainfall total on record may still be a record. It was the year 2000. And it was 137 days of measurable rain. I could not imagine living outside.
In a tent.
In a tent.
Under a tarp.
Under a freeway.
Yeah.
In the dirt.
Well, thank God that freeway's there, that viaduct, because it gives them some shelter.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the only thing.
That's probably why they're all there.
So anyways, Pearl Jam doing some good for their
great.
hometown. They're calling them the home shows at Safeco Field.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of confusing because right next door at the Expo Center, they actually have something called the home show. But it's in January, so.
And it's a different thing altogether.
Good morning. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.